response they are responding.
Okay, I'll share all. And what I believe is fun element can bind you with your students, whatever age group. We consider that, okay, these higher age group students, they would not like it. But who does not like fun in the classroom? Don't you like fun in the classroom? If I do some interactive activity in my classroom right now, won't you like it? You would definitely like it. Nobody is sitting just for gaining knowledge. Students can gain knowledge from anywhere. They can use artificial intelligence. They can use ChatGPT. They can use Google. They can buy books. They have millions of resources online. But what they would get from you is more of a connection part, which nobody else can provide. No artificial intelligence can provide that. So yes, keep your classes fun and never ever shout, because shouting means you have no power. So your students can see through that. Okay. Okay. Now let's come to the first principle, that is trusting relationships, fostering strong student-teacher connections. Once you have strong student-teacher connection, then everything else is possible in the classroom. Otherwise, whatever you do, your classrooms would be totally robotic, monotonic, and they would be lacking life. And a student is spending maybe 18 years in the same school, same classrooms, with the same kind of teachers. So we do not want that student should feel, why do I even go to school? So, okay, what is the meaning of trusting relationships? It means you are making your students comfortable in doing mistakes. You are making them comfortable in asking questions. There is an open communication. There is two-way communication. What happens that in our daily routine, we forget that our students want somebody to listen to them also. We are in a hurry. We are in a hurry to complete our syllabus. We are in a hurry to complete the topic, and we forget that listening is part of communication. So how does it feel when you are having some questions, you are troubled, and somebody listens to you, just gives you a empathetic ear, not questioning you, why you're feeling so, not judging you? How do you feel? Just tell me, just in normal life, how do you feel? Yeah, you feel great.
Helpless, ma'am.
Yeah, when somebody does not listen to you, but when somebody sits with you, okay, I'm here, I'm listening to what you have to say, I understand, you feel good. You feel that, yeah, somebody is there to at least understand what I'm going through. Maybe that person may not have the solution to your problem, but that person is giving you some time. Okay. And if you have a genuine interest in the students' well-being and their learning journey, then you have to build connections in your classrooms. And why? What is it? You understood what is trusting relationship. Why is it important? It is important because it increases engagement in the classroom. A student, see, now you trust me, you engage with me for 30 minutes, you realize, okay, maybe she's giving us something which can really help me. So I built some trust with you. So that is why you were back. Okay. So if a student feels that I can trust the teacher, so that is where the student would be engaged thoroughly with you in the classroom. There would be improved behavior. And when you have a positive relationship, there would be improved behavior. A student would be more open with you, and he would come to you, and maybe he would tell about his problems, which may not be just related to only academics. Okay. Yes, creates positive learning environment. Very nice, ma'am. Yes. So I'm still admitting people. So in case I get quiet in the in between, I'm just admitting. Okay. So academic success, definitely that is the direct, not byproduct, that is the direct product of cultivating positive relationships with the students. Because when they feel they're supported, they're valued, May I ask everyone to mute, please? Thank you. So when they feel they are supported, they are valued, they definitely achieve their full potential. Otherwise, you must, even if you remember your teachers, just close your eyes for 30 seconds and think about that one teacher who you feel is responsible for all the positive things in your life, for the positive learning outcomes in your life. You would never forget that teacher. And on the other hand side, there might be a teacher who you were scared of to even approach, who you were scared of to even ask any question. So what kind of teacher do you want depends on you. I always believe there are only, I mean, whatever categories you divide teachers into, there are only two types of teachers. Just listen to this very, very carefully. And I have experienced it. I have experienced this. There are two types of teacher. One teacher, when she enters, when she goes out of the classroom, students jump. They jump with joy. And another kind of teacher, when she enters the classroom, students jump. Students jump with joy. And I have experienced that. I was conducting some reading programs in some schools, and that was once a week class. I used to take that once a week class. And when I used to enter the corridor, students used to stand outside and started shouting and jumping, and other teachers would come outside and see what happened. So there are only two types of teachers. Which category do you fit into? Whether you want your students to jump with joy when you enter the classroom, or do you want them to jump with joy when you leave the classroom? That would decide everything you do in classroom management. So, okay. So these are the 4 points that why is it important to have trusting relationships in the classroom, because children would never care how much you know. They are not bothered about your knowledge. That is the degree you have earned. They don't care about it. They only know how much you care. They want to know, do you care about them? If they understand this thing, then you can ask them to do anything, because a teacher has more power than a parent. I always say that a teacher is more powerful than a parent. A student would listen to his teacher more than his parents. Yes, Pinky ma'am? You have raised
Is
your
my
hand.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Do you have,
Hello.
yeah?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Actually, your presentation is too impressive, but kindly unmute all the participants, please.
Yeah, I actually do not want to mute them all myself, because then it becomes a hassle for me to unmute once they are answering. So I request everyone. So I'll wait for a minute so that everybody listens to this. And only then I will move further once everybody is muted. Kindly mute yourself.
Yeah,
It
thank you
really
so much.
helps us
Thank you, ma'am.
to build the this kind of environment of learning. Otherwise, I'm distracted. Otherwise, once I mute, then it would be really difficult for you to unmute yourself. Then we'll have to ask for permission. And that should not be the case with the educators, with the trainers, with the teachers. That should not be the case. So now let's understand how you can build connection in your classroom. You have understood what is it building connections, why is it important, and how you build connection. I told you in the very beginning, my purpose would be more focused on the how part of it. So the how part is one activity which you can really do in your classrooms. That is very, very interesting activity. If you have done it, very nice. If you have never done it, I would say that you should do this. If let me see, let me know if you can see my screen once I share the video with you. Okay, just is it visible? So this is called Brain Gym. This is called Brain Gym. And if you need, I can share the link, but you can find it on the Google. Lots of videos are there. But Brain Gym is something which can help your students stay focused, create positive environment in your classroom, because they are exercising. And when they exercise for 1 or 2 minutes, positive hormones are secreted, and that helps them stay focused, stay happy in your classroom. And even you can do it with them. And believe me, I do this in my teacher training sessions, and teachers love it. Teachers love it. Can you hear the voice, please? Tell me. You can try doing that. It's not easy to be done.
ఎల్లుండి పొద్దునరా
ஃபைவ் டு சிக்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு போயின்னு
Okay. So that is like a very, like you can say a few exercises of the brain gym. But even if you have children at home, do try these exercises with them. It's not easy to do two things with different hands. So suppose I can give you one example of this. I would request everybody to do that. Have you seen somebody doing puja with the ghanti? They ring the bell and then they do this. Can you try doing both of the things together? Just try doing that. Just try doing that. So what actually we are doing, there is a concept called that there is right brain and there is left brain. So what we are trying to do using this is we are trying to make them use both of their hands. So once they use both of their hands, it is believed that their both brains work, left brain and the right brain. So that is the purpose. Apart from that, it is very, very helpful once you are doing some learning activities. Yes, both minds become active. Veena ma'am, thank you for endorsing that. And you can just go and check it in the Google. There would be hundreds and hundreds of videos. Whatever works for your classrooms, you're free to choose that. Okay, now let's come back to the. So the first thing is you can do brain gym in the classrooms. Second thing is, if you are a new teacher, supposedly not new teacher, maybe new for that particular class or that particular section, how would you know the students? You just don't have to go and say, okay, what's your name? Tell me your name. And within a minute, you would be forgetting the name. And after again, some days later on, you would be asking, okay, what's your name? I forgot your name. So a student feels that, am I not important enough for the teacher that a teacher does not remember my name? So even if you don't remember, there is something you should remember about that student, who you are. So this is one activity which I prefer whenever I conduct some sessions where I'm interacting with the people for the first time. I try doing this. I ask them their names definitely, but I ask them to draw something that they feel, okay, this is me. They can draw anything which they feel, okay, that's me. A child can draw, okay, how do you feel about you? What do you feel about that, who you are? So if you ask a child, somebody would say, I'm a lion. So you can ask, why do you feel that you are like a lion? Another one would say, I'm like a bird. So why do you feel you are like a bird? So doing this activity, you would understand their emotional part, that why they are connecting themselves with this particular thing, or maybe this particular animal, or anything they feel related to. Okay. And another thing you can ask them, tell me your name, tell me what you like to do in your free time, tell me what you like to watch. So these three things would definitely give you a deeper understanding of what kind of things the child like to watch, what kind of things he do in his free time. So that would give you a big idea of the child, just then, rather than just asking, what's your name? And another activity you can do, most of the schools nowadays are doing, and they are quite a lot of emphasis on the emotional well-being of the children also. But you can always make them, ask them, how do you feel? It's not just asking. When you will ask, okay, when you enter the classroom, you will say, how are you, everyone? So what do you think the answer would be? If I ask you right now, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. We are we have been trained to say these things. So you're not asking the real question. Ask the child, okay, what makes you happy? Okay, what makes you sad? What makes you angry? Ask these questions. Ask them, what is it that makes them happy? What is it that makes them angry? What is it that makes them sad? Not just, how are you? Okay, this activity you can do once in a week, or whenever you feel. And as I told you in the very beginning, open communication is very, very important in the classrooms. Any behavioral changes. See, this generation is quite different from our generation. Stop comparing this generation with what we used to do in our times. We cannot compare them, because this generation is born with technology, just like the fish is born in water. Fish does not understand that there is another home than water. Water is home for the fish. So for this generation, technology is home. Gadgets, they are very, very comfortable with the gadgets. So we cannot take that away. But once they are addicted to gadgets, it becomes very, very difficult to stop them or to take them away from the gadgets. And you would see, if a child is addicted to gadgets, or maybe he's watching something which is not age appropriate, you would find behavioral changes. Be a teacher who can notice those behavioral changes in the students, and only if you are connected with them, you would be able to understand the behavioral changes. Sometimes what happens that a child is going through some kind of abuse, maybe a physical abuse or emotional abuse. That is very, very common, more common than you even think. I conduct sessions for students on this good touch and bad touch, and I can't even tell you, after the session, when I ask them, okay, do you have anything to share? How many students come up and share their stories? That is very, very common. So understand, these are all real issues. So if a child is not comfortable, maybe a parent is not acknowledging what he said, be there for the child. Keep the communication channels open, and be approachable, and never ever try to humiliate a child in the class. See, we have always seen that uh, like you see, like when we want a child to do something, we would make him feel ashamed in front of everybody. That is not how it works. Suppose you are assigned a task by your higher authorities and you are not able to do that. Maybe there is no open communication and you could not understand the task, and then you could not do it. What if the authorities make you feel embarrassed in front of everybody? Would you be able to do it better? No. What if your mother-in-law tells you, okay, the other sister-in-law, she's good at these things. Why are you not good at these things? What if your parents tell you your elder brother is doing much better than you are doing? So when we compare and when we tell them we are favoring certain other aspects of, then they become very, very limited in their approach. They do not come to you. Then they will not come to you and ask you for your guidance because they know you are biased. So there is one video which I watched. That was a video of a Japanese teacher. So what she did, she was taking a class and she was just teaching the students and everybody was engrossed in the work. So what happened that suddenly she goes to the cupboard and she comes back and she sees that what she actually saw, she saw that one of the students, he's having runny nose. He's sneezing and he's not carrying his hanky. So what she did, she goes to the cupboard, she picks up the tissue and silently hands over the tissue to the child. She did not create a scene out of it. She did not point out the child. Okay, what happened? Why are you not carrying your hanky? Just go outside the class. She did not embarrass the child.
Yeah,
And
you
the
shouldn't
child-
reprimand.
Yes, the child would always
Be
remember that.
observant.
Child would always remember that this teacher tried to protect me. This teacher helped me when I actually needed, rather than making me feel embarrassed in front of everybody. So yes, be approachable and available. Tell them, yes, I am here for you. Just like Diana told everybody, I am there. I know you can do it. So sometimes conduct meetings with your students out of the blue. Okay, let's have a session where you can talk about yourself. You can talk about if you have any academic problems, you have any personal problems, any emotional problem. For the younger children, see, if their friend is not sitting with them, that can be a big issue for them. They won't mind, however, whether they're getting good marks or not. If the friend is not sitting with them, if a friend is not coming to school, that can be a big issue. So you just talk to them. It's not that every day. I'm not saying do it every day. But when you see there are certain behavioral changes in certain students, note it down. And now even we have to just write everything in the HPC, Holistic Progress Card also. So you need to note down the things about the students. That is the best way. Class observation is the best way, rather than just going for it on the last day of the session when you have to create your HPC. Keep a diary and keep noting the points about the students, their behavioral changes. And if someday I would conduct a session on HPC, I would share a story about it because I believe in the power of stories. So be fair and consistent, no favorites. Who needs us the most? Tell me. Who needs us the most? We always see on Teachers' Day, you always get flowers, chocolates, cards from students. And some of the students say, okay, you are my favorite teacher. And we also, even if we don't tell them, sometimes we do have favorite students, don't we? And when I say favorite student, some student might have come to your mind. But there might be students for whom you are not their favorite teacher. In fact, no teacher is the favorite teacher for that child. And similarly, that child is not favorite child of any teacher. So do you think what kind of feelings that child takes every day back home? Even I believe that that child must be having difficult time at home also, because he is being judged. Every time he stands up to answer, the class knows that he won't be able to answer. The teacher knows that he won't be able to answer. He's being judged. He's being mocked at. He's made fun of. So what do you think that goes inside the mind of that child? Put yourself into the mind of that child for a minute and understand who needs us the most. The students who are already self-motivated, who are having good, emotionally stable families, or the one who actually is behaving differently, the one who's not able to cope up with everything that's being done in the classroom. So that is the one child who needs us the most. And there is one story I would share at the end if we get to complete it today. Otherwise, we'll have part 2 of this session. So have small group discussions. As NEP also says, develop critical thinking and creativity in your classroom. That can only happen if there are discussions in the classroom, if there are open communication channels, if there are open-ended questions that you throw towards your students when you enter the classroom. So how can you start your conversation in the classroom, whether it is the first day or every day or every lecture? So you can ask them what if questions. What if the sun did not rise one day? What if you become invisible for a day? What if you see a burglar enter your neighbor's house? What if you were a teacher? What if? So now I want you to create one what if question and post in the chat box so that everybody can take back at least 90 questions with them. What if question can you ask your students when you go to the classroom? I would like to hear it from you. Okay. What if you became a magician? Wonderful. In fact, every teacher would like to be a magician, but yes, students would also like to be the magician. Nice question. What if you are on the moon? Wow, wonderful. See, the creativity starts from the teacher. They say they will make me invisible. Not if you are following what we are doing right now. If you will follow, they would not want you to be invisible, ma'am. What if you get powers of God? What if you became a scientist? What if you had the power to fly? What if you find a fairy in your classroom? No, the teacher is always a fairy for the students. What if there was no water in the world? Yeah, that time is approaching. I dread that. So what if you become a princess? What if you are in the world of Chota Bheem? Wonderful. I would love to be in the world of Doraemon actually. What if you are a bird? Wonderful questions. Wonderful. What of you become at my place? Okay. What if you become teacher in place of me? Okay. Nice. Very nice. What if you get to do whatever you want? I would dread that question. What if you were a teacher? Okay. That is the fancy of every teacher to put students in their shoes and then ask, now tell me how you are feeling. So you can do that. Nobody is stopping us. Ask them, okay, for today, I've seen that my daughter shares that the students who are quite mischievous, what the teacher do, they ask them to conduct the class for 5 minutes. And they can conduct a fun class, they can conduct anything related to academics or anything, but then they realize, okay, what if you were a mermaid or unicorn? What if there were no exams for anyone? What if there was no school? So thank you, everybody. Wonderful questions. So now do these things in the classroom. At least open up with your students. Don't just rush to finish the syllabus. Syllabus would anyway you will end complete by the end of the term. That you have to do. There is no other way out. But one question would open up the gates for creative thinking and critical thinking. You don't have to go anywhere to get the tools for creative thinking and critical thinking. That is how you develop critical thinking and creative thinking in your classrooms. So the spark of curiosity and that engagement. So how can you do? You can do some engaging activities. So what are those engaging activities? What is it I'm talking about? What kind of engaging activities I'm talking about? So it depends on what kind of lesson plans are you having. So why is it important to have engaging activities? Because it increases their motivation to be back in the classroom. You must be parent, some of you might be parents, and you must have heard this common question, I don't want to go to school. Mera man nahi karta. I feel bored in the school. So do you think you can teach a student which has a lid on the mind, he's not open to learning, and you are trying to teach that child? Will it work? Definitely not. You need to open the lid to put something into the bottle or whatever the box. So it increases motivation when you are having engaging activities. And I'm not asking you to do something out of the, go beyond your syllabus. Everything can be integrated within the syllabus. So it helps. Kindly,
I can be.
if you're asking any question, can we take up questions at the end, please?
Nahi.
Okay, deeper learning, it helps them. It also helps you in differentiation. We all talk about differentiated learning. We all talk about different kind of learners and different kind of learning techniques. So if you make your lesson plans, weave your lesson plans within those kinds of activities, you would definitely have differentiated learning in the classroom. You don't have to go anywhere else. And sparks curiosity. Your students would be loving to come to the class. Okay, what kind of question would my teacher be asking tomorrow? What kind of activities would be there when I go to the school? A student would love to come. So you have what you say, ignited that passion for learning. And a learner who is self-motivated would always do better than the student. Kindly mute yourself. Okay, I would request everybody to please mute. Okay, so we have always seen this pyramid and we always hear this, you hear and you forget, you see and you remember and you do and you understand. But understand why it is so powerful quote. Because when a student reads, when the mode of learning is just reading, he retains 10%. When it is listening to something, it is 20%. When it is seeing, when you are seeing a video, then it is 30%. When you hear and see something, it is 50%. When a student learns something and teaches that to somebody else, then it is 70%. When a student does something about that particular concept, then the retention is 90%. That is why we say you do and you understand. It is not just about remembering something, it is about understanding. And we all know Bloom's taxonomy. It talks about all these things. So what engaging activities you can do in your classrooms? So I will suggest there are 3 things that can be done. The first thing is your lesson plan should be powerful enough to weave your topic around the activities, and you don't have to deviate from the topic. Nobody is asking you to do something out of the box and go beyond your syllabus. No, within your syllabus, there's so much to be done. Understand what's Bloom's taxonomy and understand the model of 5E model of instructions. That I would be sharing the screenshots, but that is not the purpose of today's session. I would not be going deeper into that. But if you have the curiosity, you can go and search about Bloom's taxonomy, 5E model of instructions, and how you can build lesson plans using Bloom's taxonomy. And what is the importance of lesson plans? It helps you create activities based on that particular topic. You have clear learning objectives and you can conduct differentiated learning in your classrooms. So what kind of what is 5E models? I will just give you a glimpse of that. So 5E models, it is a model of instruction that says, first engage the learner about that one particular topic. Ask them certain questions which they might be knowing from the previous knowledge, what you call previous knowledge. Then explore, explain the topic, elaborate on that, and then evaluate. So this is what it is. You can take a screenshot and later on understand what it is. I'll wait for a second. Okay, and Bloom's taxonomy, as you are educator, I believe everybody knows what is Bloom's taxonomy. If not, take a screenshot and maybe in future we can conduct one session on Bloom's taxonomy. And now, the engaging activities you can do. Think, pair, share, most of you know. But do you understand the power of think, pair, share? Why is it so important that whenever you teach a topic to the students, you do this? You do think, pair, share. You tell them, okay, now I'm asking you to think, pair, and share. So what happens that when you are asking them to think, pair, and share, they would be talking with their peers. And the complaint most of the students feel when we go to school, teachers do not allow us to talk. You are solving one major problem. You are allowing them to speak to their peer. Second is, suppose one of them has not understood the concept fully. So the other one maybe has understood it. He can help him understand what the teacher said. And that would help build the connection. That would help build the communication in your classroom. And another one, which I think we have only 1 minute left. One which I would like to share is the number head. Please note this down. The numbered head activity, it is very, very important. The numbered head activity, it's not an activity, it is a strategy by which you can limit the chaos in your classroom. How you can limit the chaos in your classroom? Suppose you are teaching a topic, or suppose you are teaching nouns in the classroom, and you are using the formative assessment, you are asking questions in between. And once you ask questions, what happens? Either everybody raises hands or nobody raises hands, or the students who regularly raise hand, they would raise hand and they would, ma'am, 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 I would answer, and there would be chaos in the classroom. So this numbered head technique would, what would you do is, once you know that today I would be taking a topic and I would be questioning them, divide the class, enter the class and tell them, okay, I will be giving you a number, remember that number. So suppose there are 30 students, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So next time, every student is having a number. So next time when you ask the question, you will say, okay, tell me what are proper nouns? Number 3. So only the students who has number 3 will raise their hands, and now you will ask them the question. Next time you say, okay, what are common nouns? Number 5. Only the students who have number 5 would raise their hands, but you have to build this within your classrooms. You have to make sure that you ensure these routines when you start the sessions, or maybe after the holidays, you are having new sessions, you can build these routines. So we have a lot more to cover. We have just done one principle yet. We have 4 more to cover and the session is ending. And I would request Matthew sir to allow me to